Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here. Hope you're having a fantastic day like I am. Welcome. It's going to be a great show again because we're going to be uncovering the truth. Actually, um, I've been listening to a lot of solutions. And these solutions, whether it's AI taking us over, or aliens taking us over, or the government taking us over, or in this case, feminine power taking us over. It's all about something taking us over, and we should all be scared. We should all be afraid, or at least that's what the news media says. It's quite interesting. Everything is taking us over, and then we get into this habit of having everything taken us over, right? Then your relationships consume you, literally, and then you feel stuck. How many of you feel stuck in your relationships? How many of you go, God, now, your career sucks, your family sucks, your health sucks. Again, it's just like a dark cloud over society, over humanity. Well, that dark cloud has gotten so thick that, we can't even be human anymore. There's so much confusion. There's so many, especially young kids, right? There's so much confusion on even their sexuality. There's so much confusion on even becoming human, right? That starts to say cloud us, or that starts to suppress us. And again, so we need to lift that veil, that veil, and in the XI community, XI sciences here, is about frequencies, and it's about filters that that we see ourselves. The reason why it's becoming so dense, it's really you can take it in two ways, by the way. The reason why things are becoming so dense is because this is the heaviness that we've always been carrying. So the universe, the universal powers, the universal frequencies, dictates basically, for you who are beginners in XI, for you who are, say, sciencey type individuals, wherever you are, wherever, if you're new to XI, everything's pretty much new. Something that science hasn't uncovered yet, right? So, where was I? I'm just picking up a lot of new people. So, welcome, congratulations to your new life, new beginnings. All right. The reason why we see it so heavy is that it's nothing new, really. It's not a new paradigm. It's just that everything is so heavy because this is the burdens of society. This is the burdens of humanity that we put upon ourselves. And the universe dictates clarity, it dictates efficiency, it dictates the best possible self. Okay. So again, whether you're going through a science aspect or through a religious aspect, or anything in between, it's always about, again, even at a cellular level, it's about becoming your best possible self every moment. And this transition that's coming through within the world paradigm, and you can see, again, solar flares acting up, so much happening in the universe. We're part of that universe. So as humans, we have to, say, adapt and change. We can't settle from like thousands and thousands of years ago. We're still that same, say, consciousness. We're stuck in that evolutionary process, again, from 1,000 years back. We're still running from trying to survive. In this reality, we have an opportunity to thrive. And this is what's happening for us overall. If many of you, how many of you, by the way, in commenting, I know there's a little delay in YouTube, but and I'll read some of your comments. But how many of you? God, now I forgot what I was going to say. How many of you feel that something big is happening? Right? You hear it on the news, even those people who pretend to control the world. They go, shit, we don't know what the hell's going on. This is all new. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is the new stuff. Humanity is being pushed to be its best possible self because it's in our genetic makeup. Right? So you can't use the old paradigms. The old paradigms come from, again, it's not, of course, it's government issues, it's societal issues, but then it comes down to the human. We as humans don't identify who we are anymore. Right? That's the burden that you're feeling, by the way. Right? In this case, coming into your feminine power. Right? We'll do, we've had Mother's Day, coming into feminine power. But It's not just a sequential. We'll do fathers, and then coming into a more masculine power, we'll do that in June, for Father's Day. So, but we have to adapt or bring back the pure femininity. I call it the XI woman, exponentially intelligent femininity. The reason why is because the females actually control the world. Now, a lot of you might go, well, that's not true. We've always been suppressed. You look at the basic structure of any society, females control the world. Okay? They drive. If it wasn't for women, men wouldn't do the things that they do. Simple as that. Bottom line, right? To create the biggest, say, inventions or concepts that we have, again, right down to AI, right? Even Bitcoin, literally, is, if you look at it, that person that invented all that stuff was driven by a man. Okay. Unfortunately, in today's society, this, and it goes very, very deep. Unfortunately, in today's society, it's not because back in the day, in the 40s and 50s, and Napoleon Hill, chapter 14, I think, in The Secret of Life, or no, I forgot the How to Become Rich, Think and Grow Rich. There we go. That book, Sexual Transmutation. Okay, Sexual Transmutation. That book basically explains the basis of this. Before, it was because of a love of a good woman, right? And societies like flourished a bit more. Over here, it's because of the hatred, and they want to be dominant. So that's where, again, men go to war, women start to destroy themselves, and then go to war. So everything's merging, and it's not a good merge, by the way. Right? People go, well, as we ascend, we're not going to have female frequencies, masculine frequencies. It's not about that, guys. Down here in this physical realm, there has to be a masculine frequency and a feminine frequency. As human beings, or as human form, you can't hold on to the power and the purity of both identities at the same time in physical form. So you literally have to be separated. Okay? But that goes way, way deep. Okay? First of all, we need to fix some of these things, like feminine power, coming into your feminine power. Because then, as you start to realize who you are in your career, who you are as, in motherhood, who you are as your sexuality. And I have a special guest today as well, coming into your own power. Once you claim that power, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So it's a great idea, especially for those women who are becoming more and more exponentially intelligent. As you come into your power, what I just said will make more sense for you. Okay? So if it just went over your head, it's totally cool. Totally cool. Just allow it to absorb, rather than going, especially if you're new, just allow it to absorb, and just allow yourself to be present with it. Don't try to judge. You can ask questions about what I said, but again, don't go, well, he's wrong because my idea or concept is this. Because then you don't grow and expand. Those individuals, or what is genius, is that if you can hold two different concepts in your mind at the same time. Most people can't do that. It's the level of your intelligence, by the way, that dictates if you can hold two or more concepts in your mind at the same time without destroying yourself. Right? Give it a try. So again, if you're a naysayer there, or people come on and it's like, gosh, I don't know why, but I just feel that I need to have that clarity. I think there's just more new people coming on board, which, again, congratulations. But the best way to go through the XI, or becoming exponentially intelligent, is about helping you learn how to think, okay, and apply that knowledge. Okay? Most situations that are out there, they don't tell you how to think. They just tell you what to think. Over here in XI, I give you the ground or the framework on how to think, so you can process whatever is out there truthfully with you. Okay, and that's a hard task, because in society, it's like you're not supposed to think. You're just supposed to do. Right? The reason why I bring that up is because in today's society, women back in history, what have you done? You're not supposed to think. Does that make sense for you? Back in the day, again, thousands of years ago, women were there more as like precious items. They turned into objects. Then they turned literally into, say, cattle type. Right? They're basically possessions, and ever since then, women have been possessions. So whenever that transition happened, right, from precious deity, because that's what womanhood was all about, turning into again a more of a human or physical object, turning into, say, an object of beauty and grace, and then turning into objects. The key is that women in today's society have turned into objects. Hence, you feel suffocated. But unfortunately, most women, what do? They turn and they objectify themselves even more by the clothes you wear, by morphing yourself into becoming a man in your careerhood, by identifying yourself as a mother versus a woman, a human being a woman having a child. There's a difference, okay? Because most people or most women go through childbirth, especially the first one, and they have postpartum depression, most of that reason. And I've worked with a ton of women, okay? So it's not just theory. I've worked with 100,000 client sessions. Most of those women that I've worked with who have had postpartum depression and symptoms like that. It's because they sacrificed themselves. So basically, it's like their old self died as they came into bearing a child. Right? There's that separation. It's not good. And I'm going to talk about each one of these: career, motherhood, and sexuality. And again, I've got a special guest coming on board as well. All right. So we'll start with should be backwards. It should be sexuality. It should be career. It should be motherhood. So let's do it that way, because sexuality, it's not just about intimacy or anything like that. Your sexuality is your identity of who you are. Okay? But in earlier times, again, as I said, most women have become possessions. So as a young girl, or even an infant, you start to identify yourself as a possession. And as a possession, you start to disconnect from who you are. You start to disconnect from your feminine power, right? Your feminine ingenuity, your feminine prosperity. Right? No matter how rich this world gets, now we're talking about trillion-dollar, say, companies. No matter how rich this gets, if the feminine power, if it isn't fertile, if it isn't complete, no matter how much money somebody has, you will feel broke, straight out. And that's because women have lost their sexuality. Right? And I'm not just blaming women. I'm just saying, oh, this is the diagnosis. Okay, that women have lost their sexuality. They want to be a man, like I said, in becoming a career, coming into a career. It starts right off the bat as an infant. That mother does not know who she is as a female. That mother does not know that she's a powerful goddess. Okay. And in this case, let me define goddess, because most people think, oh gosh, I'm a goddess, I don't do anything, right? No, the queen bee, look how hard she works. In any female structure, the females work a hell of a lot. They keep the family intact. They keep the family connected. Okay? In humanity, or in human form, the physicalness, the man, or the women think that that the men keep everything intact, society's intact, and they don't. The underlying structure is still that the women are keeping everything intact, or the feminine power keeping everything intact in today's society, in human society. But that thread, okay, that threshold is broken, it's cracked, it's falling apart. So if the women fall apart, society falls apart, straight out. You can look at it through nature's eyes, even plants. When the female organism starts to break apart, everything falls apart. Okay, so we need, and that's why we're talking about feminine power. So take a breath in. We'll make this an experiential concept. All right. So sexuality, your identity of becoming a woman, okay, or a young girl, that's gotten distorted, destroyed. And you might go, well, it's propaganda and all that. It's just a mixture of everything. We'll go into detail in other masas on Sunday, but as an overall structure. And by the way, we've got a great feminine package to bring you into that XI woman. So take a breath in and just notice your feminine parts. Okay? If you're a guy here, just notice your masculine parts. All right, the physical, feminine, physical, masculine parts. Okay, not your identity of who you are or what you think you are in your brain, because that's very confusing to even heterosexuals, okay? Much less LGBT and then all the other names that we put out there. Again, breath in again. All right, so let's re-identify who we are as a feminine frequency, okay, despite your physical gender. Okay, take a deep breath in again. We'll talk about each one of those just for you to understand the differences so we can get out of our mind and get back into our psyche. Right? What happens is that you distort yourself as a woman first, and then your mind adapts to that distortion. Right? Most people, again, in society, no matter what it is, people think that their mind controls their reality. It's not. Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, all those great individuals, Sadhguru, again, all those great individuals and many more. They've got great content, great subjects. Again, I'm not denying them, I'm not saying they're wrong, but they think their mind is in control. And it's really not. And it messes up societies, by the way, when you think that your mind has the power to transform. You don't. Accessing your higher self, your innate being, like we do here in XI, that's where you start to transform who we are, not just individually as a society, but we need to start with the individual. Because when the individual comes together as a community, as a world population, then that's how we shift and transform. The beginning of that is women. And that's why women are so intuitive. They've got so much potential, but they want to be a man in today's society. So right off the bat, okay, for reasons, well, slavery, sexual, sexual use, was it sexual sacrifice? There we go. All right. If you looked too beautiful back in the day, like you're a goddess, you should be sacrificed. You should be given to the gods, right? So all those identities are in women's, right? And then over time, again, you've been treated like cattle, and you go, well, the men did it. No, we all did it. We, as humans, it was just a propagation. Simple as that. So we have to move away from they did that to us, because if you're part of the problem. Look at the women and how women treat. Look at your mom, how she treated you, right? Again, it's not just them against us. That's just propaganda to keep separation. Okay? So you need to understand that humans and you being a part of human evolution have destroyed ourselves. Simple as that. Once we get back to that level, human form rather than male, female, and they did this to us, and then from there culture, and they did this to us, and then race and religion and so on. Every division of that, right? We separate more and more and more, right down into, say, a division of our identity between being human. That's how far we've gone. So we need to step back and start to realize that we're human. That's really, really important. So right off the bat, all you women, even masculine, even if you're a man here, take a deep breath in and listen. Go back to your younger voice. Right? Listen to that younger voice, especially right before puberty. Was it safe being a woman in your environment? So as women, or as a young girl turning into or morphing into a young woman, what happens to you? You go, fuck. Or you see your mom get beat up, you see all the movies, you read history. What does that do to you as an organism? You're again, what I talked about earlier. Okay, this all comes back, right? What I talked about earlier is you're supposed to be your best possible dominant self of who you are. Okay, so what does that do to you? when you're treated like cattle, when you're insecure, when you've gotten abused, right? As a generation, I'm sorry, not a generation, but as a sex, what does that do to young girls or babies, right? Or again, girls coming into womanhood? It's like, fuck, I don't want to be a woman. So what do? You literally start to adapt yourself genetically. And this is where society, just pray, as Carolyn said, exactly. Not being safe, not being human. That's really good. Not safe to be a woman. It's all in your genetics. It goes way beyond your brain. It literally destroys your genetics, and then your brain adapts to your genetics. That's how it works. So at XI, we work at a genetic and it's literally beyond your spiritual genetics, right? Your frequency genetics, as I would call it. So we need to change you at that level, right? At your cellular structure, your DNA. Take a breath in again and notice your neck, right? Again, notice your feminine parts and then your brain. Let's connect those three together because there's a separation there as well. Most women, they're in their head. They've lost their identity of their physical being. So you're just dragging literally a piece of meat all the way around. Okay, your body's dead for most women. Their bodies are dead, no matter how beautiful they are. They don't feel that sexuality, that sensuality. That sexuality and sensuality has become degraded in today's society, by the way. Right? It's very dirty through Playboy, and it's not about looking at nude pictures, or it is. Again, it's everything. But at its core level, okay, those are just roots. Okay, those are extended roots. But at the base, looking at women, because you can look at at a nude woman, for example. Okay, you can look at a nude woman and look at the beauty and grace and amazing, again, form of that woman, and hold her in high honor. In today's world, that's not true. She's a piece of property. Wonder what she'll be like in bed. Again, you don't honor that woman, and that's where, again, it's not about nude pictures. That we have to turn that around, right? The way women dress nowadays, you guys look great, you look fantastic, but again, why do you dress the way you do? And then you're insecure about it, right? Oh, really? Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I don't know why that my interactions are turning on, guys. It's kind of weird, but reactions. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Um, I don't know. Anyway, the interactions that popped up, guys, ignore those. Okay, that it's just hand interactions. Hopefully, I turned it off. I don't know why Zoom's doing that because we're not even on Zoom. We're on Rendezvous. Anyway, so those coming back. Okay, forget the hand gestures and the interactions. All right. So, alrighty. So coming back. So when you start to lose your identity of your sexuality, this is where the problems happen. Your sexuality turns into, again, a product or a service. Again, the porn industry. There's nothing wrong with the porn industry if done right, right? But in fact, the oldest what profession? What is the oldest profession? Right? There's nothing wrong with that, by the way, because but when you're trying to create prosperity for yourself or take care of your kids in that fashion, and you do it the proper way, again, because that's your only choice, because society only gave you that choice, right? You have to clear yourselves up, but women carry the burden of doing the right thing, right? Doing the right thing for the right reason into, well, she was a whore and all that. And then all the women forward, no matter how far away you are from, again, a prostitute, you destroy yourselves because it's in your genetics. Right? And we can talk more and more about sexuality, but we have to move on. Some of the female or feminine XI women, meditations, hyper meditations go into all that. All right. So, one, your sexuality has to be reshifted. And what I'm doing for you, take a deep breath in. And again, notice your feminine parts and then your brain and then your identity as a whole. Okay? Many of you have gone through this process. So comment in on how you see yourself now compared to how you see yourself before, especially if you've been abused in the past, especially if you've had a masculine identity of who you are. Okay, let's get into motherhood in today's society. Again, it's through religions. Sexuality is a sin. It says right off the bat, most religions, well, not most religions, actually, it's an honor and grace in a specific religion, but in most of the other religions, again, it's of sin. Right? You're not supposed to do that. Even in that one religion that I'm talking about, and be Islam, it's supposed to be of honor and grace because you're producing, again, a human, which is an honorable role. How they treat women, or what it's turned into treating women, it destroys that purity that's in the book, in the Quran. Okay, unfortunately. So coming into motherhood, okay, is a disgrace. It's a sin. In fact, again, in cultures and in societies, if you had your menstrual cycle, you were dirty. You had to be put in another house. You couldn't sleep in the same sleeping quarters. So what does that say to a woman now bearing a child, right? And it shows, like, oh, you've had sex. Basically, that's what it is, right? And then that woman, okay, despite the beauty and the grace and the essence, the presence of a pregnant woman, that goes all out the window. Okay, instead of honoring that woman, what do we think about? Boom, right off the bat. Oh, physical proof that she's had sex, and then all the bullshit about sexuality and sex. It's not a good thing. Okay? There's no honor in that. There literally is no honor in that. So we have to bring that back and see it as honor and purity of bringing in, say, an elegant grace, graceful being in this reality. Take a deep breath in again. Athea, yuck. I need to clean up. Yes, I was ashamed of the thought of being seen pregnant. How many women get that way, right? But again, you're not supposed to have sex and all that stuff. It's dirty. You're a whore and all that. And then one of the best things, right, is getting pregnant and bearing another human. But then that's again, all that is in that baby now. And then you keep perpetuating it generation after generation. What happens? It becomes genetically coded within you, just like everything else. And then you as humans, remember I was talking about humans feeling dirty. They don't like being part of that. It's not about being human that you don't like. It's literally about all the dirt and the distrust and the yuck that's been put upon, not just being women, but just being human. That's where it comes from. It's just generation after generation. All that muck is like, shit, I don't want to even be human anymore. How many of you have become exponentially intelligent? You start to go, damn, humans suck. I'm not this part of this human race anymore. I'm this version of it. How many of you have gotten to that point and you see the true beauty of your sensuality and your sexuality and your motherhood, right? You can reclaim all that. And this is where, this is where, being a mother, especially two daughters, sorry, excuse me, guys. I just got to turn this off. There we go. This is where being, a parent to a man or a woman, especially, old as you age, this is where it becomes really nurturing, or you can re-nurture those kids and yourself. Okay, because motherhood in this presence, or the way motherhood should be, okay, now that we've got the dirt out of the way, take a deep breath in. Notice how many of you resonated with what I said. I could have said more again, but we just don't have enough time. But let's bring in that true frequency of motherhood, where you're proud being bringing in another being, and how that being came about is out of love. not out of frustration, not of weakness, not about trapping somebody, and so on and so on and so on. So the reason why somebody even got married, or not married, but the reason why somebody got into motherhood, that's a whole different topic in itself. So we'll just leave it there, okay, just because of time. But again, guys, that doesn't work out well either for you, right? The reason why many of us are around, probably not the proper reason. That doesn't work out well for human society. Okay? So let's take a deep breath in. Motherhood is supposed to be a time of grace. It's supposed to be a time of beauty. It's supposed to be a time of reflection, right? When you've got a young being that's brilliant within you, it allows you, again, that aura that pregnant women have, a true pregnant woman, rather than shame and so on. That aura that women has, it's the aura of a new being, not yet fully formed in space and time. And as you become into or of who you are, it allows that woman who may have forgotten about herself to regenerate herself and reconnect as a young being with her young being. Okay? So motherhood should be a place of youth, vitality. But how many mothers do you see? They're frazzled, they're messed up. Again, they're shamed. They have separated themselves from being a mother. So you've separated yourself from being human, right, into this woman, and now you've separated yourself again. Okay, third separation into being a wife. Okay, so you've got human, you've got woman, you've got, say, a wife or a partner, right, and then you're a mother. So that's four separations. And that's what's wrong with society or coming into motherhood. You've lost your identity each time you define your role. Okay, we're talking about career. Oh, in between that, right? You're a career woman, and then you get married. So that's a separation there. So the person that's getting married, by the way, okay, the person that's getting married is not a woman. Is again, the woman was over here. Human, being a woman, identifying yourself for whatever career that you have. Okay? Then you get married or you have a partner, and then you come into motherhood. Okay, all those separations of yourself. What the natural way of doing that is like, oh, you're morphing into. It's a metamorphosis. You're morphing into an identity of who you are as a human, having an experience as a woman, having experience as a mother, right? They're all one and the same. You are not separate spaces. When you become separate of who you are, and that separation, remember what I talked about when you become property. That separation is like, wait a second, I'm not human anymore. I am property. And then property is designated by society standards, not designated by or deemed through God's eyes. You are deemed through people's eyes, society's eyes. And that's where, again, property happens. You get damaged. You don't want to feel like a woman anymore. Take a breath in. All that makes sense for y'all. Shame for feeling ashamed. Happy Tina, this is really good. I felt strong, powerful, and sexy when I was pregnant. After birth, I was exhausted, depleted, depressed. Yep. So the reason why, and by the way, I'll scan people after this. Okay. The reason why you did that is because that young being, that's what I was talking about. That young being brought you into, say, center. It pulls you into present moment time, and you get to see the sensuality of who you are. You get to see the grandness of who you are. You get to see the potential of who you are. That's the way you're supposed to feel all the time, even without being pregnant. Even if you're a guy, if you're human, that's the way you're supposed to feel. That's what exponential intelligence is about. But we separate ourselves, and as we separate, we don't feel that anymore. And then once that being is gone, you can't center yourself, hence you get distorted, and then you get depleted and exhausted. Right? And then unfortunately what happens, and I can tell, you latched onto your baby, right? You anchored your baby, and you probably suffocated the hell out of that baby, by the way. That's how that happens. That's how that cycle happens. And it gets worse and worse and worse with every generation. All right. But this generation, this time, this moment in time, is about deleting all those things. Let's take a deep breath in. Get into a career. All right. So it's a man's world out there. Again, as a man, if you're, no matter who it is, okay, most women, again, you can name me any woman, and I'll tell you if they run a man or a woman's frequency. But most successful women that I've met, that I've worked on, top level CEOs, billionaires, they've turned into a man. Or if they're still female, okay, they're still female and they have a lot of money or little money, they've literally they've shrunk down and do not identify themselves as women anymore. Right now, sometimes I go to these special women's interest groups, or Faye connects with them and so on, and I hobnob with some of the women, very highly influential women out there, which is really nice. But they've lost the grace of being a woman. Okay? They're trying to define who they are. So this is where, again, in the career world, this is where women who have a lot of money, they try to define who they are through philanthropy, through helping out, through doing so on. Those kind of situations. Again, men do the same thing, right? They've made $1 billion and they go, shit, you know what? I've lost myself. I'll reclaim by doing philanthropy. It doesn't work out that way. It just magnifies the distortion that you are. So you want to do philanthropy, right? So getting back as a career, you should go in, if you're a young woman starting your career, you should go in and start to define who you are first. As you define who you are first, then you step into that career, no matter what it is: a doctor, a lawyer, a chef, even say a waitress, somebody who cuts hair, whatever it might be. It doesn't really matter. You're doing it as a woman. The key is that you're doing it as a woman. Most women, again, most people, but most women define who they are by the roles that they play. So if most in this world, again, most of the roles, even chefs and or hairstylists and so on, the best ones are masculine. So even that has gotten messed up. Right? And again, it's not a masculine role or a feminine role, but we've put those ideas or concepts. Right? Wealth or security or financial freedom is a masculine trait. So what does that say to women? It's like, well, you're insecure. So the more money you have, by the way, the more, if you've ever wondered why you're a very wealthy woman, but you feel insecure the more wealth you have, whether it's your family's wealth or you did it, you feel more and more insecure. Right? Because wealth is a man's propensity. It's not true, but in today's society, wealth is a man's propensity. So again, the wealthier you become, the more you realize it's like, shit, I have to turn into a woman. I have to turn into a man to maintain that wealth and feel secure. So the women who don't feel like women, who are still women, for example, they'll feel more and more insecure. And this is where I said they'll do philanthropy to feel more in tune with themselves or more complete. The women who've morphed into a man as they become wealthy or religious, by the way, even religion does the same thing, because it's a space of abundance. Money, for example, financial freedom is again abundance. Connecting to God is abundance. It's the same thing. Right? So again, it's the same thing. But as women come up, what happens to them? Right? They start to define who they are, and that's that definition. So again, let me just make it very clear for you, okay? Because I don't talk linearly, I talk more spatially. As in today's society, okay, security is deemed to be a masculine frequency. Right? So if you have a lot of money, right, or you've created success for yourself in your career, no matter what it is, that woman most likely has turned into a man. They don't, and I hear it a lot. It's like, Moss, I'm successful. I don't feel like I don't feel like a woman anymore. Simple as that. Right? So now what's happening, take a deep breath in, is that the more successful you become, the more masculine you become to identify with the financial freedom that you've gained on your own. Right? Simple as that. You didn't do it as a woman, you did it as a man, hence you lost yourself. Those women who again, their husbands became, the more secure, the more financially secure that you get, the more weaker that you will feel, or more incomplete that you will feel, because again, financial freedom. So what happens is that if you're financially, say, secure and safe here, right, you identify yourself as a weaker woman. So this is where a lot of, say, high level women, they have this masculine presence, even if they didn't create the wealth, even if it was generational wealth or their spouses made the wealth. It's crazy, right? So those are the details that we need to see, that we need to understand. Somebody was talking about, it's the filters that we're running. So in today's society, all those filters, it's a great opportunity for us to see the filters and move away from them. Move away from the filters that aren't doing us any good. This is the heaviness that you are experiencing and you're seeing in today's society. Nature, the universal powers are doing you a favor. Right? Instead of holding on to your identity, your old way of processing all that bullshit, that's not you. You don't want to do that. You step back into being a human first. Identify yourself as being a human and move all those things that we're not as humans, the original human. And then you start going, oh gosh, I'm a woman. Okay. And then observe other women. And that's all you have to do. Right? These are the 1, 2, 3 steps for all you women out there, or all you feminine individuals out there. Right. And again, if you're gay or you're lesbian or anything in between, whatever it might be. Okay. You ready, honey?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm just
Come
waiting
on
for
in.
you.
Yeah. If you're gay, lesbian, again, a feminine power, right? That's within you. Right? So it doesn't really matter. It's that feminine power and owning that feminine power. Right? That's another talk, by the way. But the steps that you can do, and then we'll bring on this lovely guest that you just saw. You ready, baby? Okay. So the importance is that you step back and you identify who you are as a woman. I mean, as a human, and as you become, as you become the identity of a human, once you can get to that purity, and with XI, it's radically easy actually. You start to define, it's like, oh, this is what womanhood should be, because it's in your natural essence. It's literally, you are coded to know what, say, a powerful woman should be. Right? Look at the animal kingdom. There's a lot of powerful women out there, right? In the animal kingdom, hell yeah. Women can do that as well and not lose their sensuality, their sexuality, their identity. Okay? So once you, again, step back, step to be the observer and allow your natural state to come in. Yeah, again, we do it with XI. What'll happen for you is that you go, oh, this is what it feels to be a woman. How many women out there finally through XI, okay, have go, God, this is what womanhood should be. Again, comment in. It's quite amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, honey.
Hi.
My lovely wife here.
What a topic today.
Yeah, crazy topic.
Yeah.
Great comments for you.
Yeah. While talking about motherhood, career, and sexuality, I was thinking I need to talk about each subject separately, and then we have lots of screaming little kids in the house this morning, and then all of a sudden I realized I actually can't talk about them separately. As women, we do things, we kind of make them blend everything together, and we're not very linear in our thinking. And I don't know how many times you are being a mother and you have to be highly aware of your sexual identity, and at the same time you're working. So my day usually running around with screaming little kids, and then finally at night I can work. I will work till about 2 or 3:30 in the morning, and then 7:30 or 8 o'clock I get up and take them to school. So like everything is intertwined together. But the best thing is I actually really enjoy motherhood, and I really enjoy being a woman. So everything I do, doesn't matter how chaotic, how busy it is to the outside people, is just crazy. But every single moment, I really, really enjoy my life. Even I have to wake up super early in the morning, tired and sleepy. I'm taking the girls to school, but that's some of the best time we spend together. We talk, and I told them turn off their phones. This is a human interaction time, and we had the best conversations. So I think everything is mixed together. Um, I can't really, because even in my younger days, I always think about sexuality, motherhood. Ew, once you become mother, you're just not sexy anymore. And now I have to say I completely disagree, because you can be this sexy, sensual woman at any stage of your life. It's really a state of being. It's not like, oh, now I'm a mother, I have to be frumpy. No, not at all. I think when you become a mother, with that deep understanding and profound experience of love, you can be a better wife and even more sensual. So that is my personal experience, and I think through practicing XI, you really confirm it could be that you can be everything at the same time. That's what Moss talk about, the multi-dimensional self.
Very good, Judy.
Well, there's a lot more because I couldn't think when I was running around with the kiddos. And I think as men and women, Moss and I, we come together for this lifetime. But this one lifetime, we're here to heal generational wounds. Whatever passed down from his family, my family, my lineage, is all the combination of generations of human wounding, human drama, pain, and suffering. So we're working it out and working with our kids. So hopefully in this one generation, we'll clean, like people said, all the filters. And for the next generation, there's so much suffering. It doesn't even have to happen. And as far as there's something I would like to address a little bit later, but just right before I come online, I just get lots of questions. So let me just see what question we got here. Hey, you got Persian.
Yeah, we got Persian. Unfortunately, Katie, I can't read Persian, although I am Persian, unfortunately. Well, from my point of view, looking at Faye, and a lot of you, when you see us interact, it's quite amazing. And we both had messed up frequencies back in the day, our previous axes and so on, and we can talk about that some other time, all the details about that. And I'd love to talk about it because there's a lot of questions,
I receive a lot of questions.
There's a tons of questions, and there's some comments, interesting comments and so on, but we'll get into that
another time.
because we just don't have time here. And I think it's dedicating, it's honorable to dedicate, some time on it, because again, a lot of people ask some really deep, interesting questions, and Faye and I were very transparent. We can talk about that, but again, this might not be the time and place. Okay, so I'll invite you on a separate platform to come in, and we'll have them the famous hour here with that will give you some of the personal stuff that you might be asking. All right. Are you gone?
No, I'm not done with the kids.
Okay.
Noise.
Anyway, we've got I don't know how many kids in the house here playing. The cool thing about the way we've created this home space now with Faye and I is that it's actually quite amazing, where the kids actually feel safe. They feel really, really safe here. In fact, they bring a lot of their friends who don't have, say, the best parents. So we're parents to not just my 6 kids, a ton of other kids as well, and they just feel home. My mom's house was like that. My mom and dad's house was like that. There's people. There was friends. Even when we weren't there, there's our friends, again, even if we weren't there, that would hang around, with our house. I think we're perpetuating that frequency where it just feels like a safe house here for the kids, and they actually nurture and grow. So again, we have kids all the time, and and people go, well, how do you juggle all that? Well, the key is that you can't separate yourself, because when you are separating who you are, right? Oh, I got this career. You're this career person here. Now I got to be a mother. It's like You switch roles. When you switch roles, and then your husband or your spouse comes in the place. Like, now I got to deal with that. Again, those are all separations of who you are. Whenever you start to separate, you're not efficient. Right? There is efficiency in separation, but nature does it in a different way. Humans do it in a different way. In this case, what happens is whenever you separate, you're not just creating, this identity doesn't stop when you turn into another identity. Like, you're working on a project, and then this is how most people do it, by the way. Okay. You're working on a project, but then your child needs you, right? Because you're a mom, right? So what do? You sacrifice your career for the child. That child is now feels like sacrificial. It's like, shit, you know what? I took away that identity of that woman. That's how that kid feels. And then over time, they either embrace that or they get destroyed by it. Either way. But what you really want to do is that, oh, I'm a woman having a career. Okay, so expansive. Oh, my child needs me. But if you start to integrate all the aspects of who you are rather than divide who you are, this is where a lot of you, again, feel depressed or anxious. I was reading some of the comments here. I lost the comment that I was going to focus in on. Oh, here it is. Masati, I love being a mother, but being a woman has been challenging in terms of making money for my family. Absolutely. Because there's separation. Because like, now I'm a woman, now I'm a mom, now I need to make money. Again, those separations destroy you. If you start to realize, again, as you come into yourself and become one identity, become singular, what'll happen is, in this situation, something happens. You're working on again your career, a project. Now that most people work at home, oh, like, your child needs you. You expand into that child, and as you expand into being a mother for that child, you let go of the time frame. Your higher self works on whatever that you need to work on. So it's taking a break. It's really kind of cool, right? It's about taking a break, not sacrificing this version of who you are. As you take a break from this and expand into another version of who you are, you're nurturing that version. So in the back of your mind, your higher self actually works on that when you come back after nurturing your child properly, rather than going, what the hell do you want? Kind of deal, because it just shuts everything off. You come back, you're refreshed, because taking care of a child should be a refreshing moment for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's the way Faye sees it, by the way. It's a refreshing moment. Even despite we've got like 6 kids and then many more kids. There's more kids that we take on. Yeah. And then when she comes back, it's like, oh, I see things. You see things from a very, very different perspective. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the classes and things that I want Faye to teach on, how she does that, or how we can teach it together. It's really, it makes, this was solidifies sexy. Absolutely. When you start to expand who you are, you don't age. You literally don't age. You'll feel younger connecting with that child.
Oh, I have to show, maybe next time. I took the girls. My little girls are not so little anymore. They're going to be 14. But I remember when I first met Moss a long time ago, they were just like 20 months old. And I took them to the park, and they got together on a little swing, and I took a picture. I wish I have it. I'll share it. Maybe I'll send it out to the community.
Yeah, put it on Telegram.
Yeah, I'll put it on Telegram. And they look like they're big girls. They're beautiful. They're all full grown. And I remember I had this older picture of Moss. And so I found it. It was from years and years ago. And it was Moss holding the 2 little girls, 3 of them sitting on a swing. Maybe I can send it to Dimitro right now when you're talking later. You just have to see the picture and how fast they've grown up. Yeah, I'll send to you later. So how fast they've grown up. But the shocking or the pleasant surprises to see not only the transformation of the little girls, it's Moss actually. And you just have to see it. And as far as how children keep you young, how a happy relationship keeps you happy. As far as motherhood, treating with children, I think it's something really I figured out myself. I have no idea. And it really helps that I become a mother a little bit later in my life, if I was in my teens or 20s, even early 30s, I wouldn't have known this because I'm so much more patient now. Um, my way of dealing with all the chaos and screaming children and everything is doesn't matter how, like today, this morning, doesn't matter how busy I am, how preoccupied I am. When they talk to me, I stop, I look them in the eye, I smile, I listen, and I kiss them and I hug them, and it works wonders. And then we have the real time connection because when mothers running around all day long, you think you're taking care of the kids and you're all frazzled. You're not there and you're not present with them, and they don't feel you. And there's
Yeah, they don't
no
feel you.
connection. Although all day you're there with them, there's no connection. And for me, I'm really, really busy. I really run around all day long doing all kinds of things. But when I'm with them, I'm with them. And especially this morning, the screaming little girls running up and down. And I was hoping they can sleep till noon. Usually they do. But this morning they just wake up super early. If I want this, if I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm hungry. So, but every single time I make a point to stop, look them in the eyes and tell them, you're so cute, you're so cute. I'll kiss them and hug. And I have such a happy, full morning. I feel just so fulfilled. And of course, I wish I'm more prepared on more of the motherhood sexuality, but it's right off the bat. I can think of just the moment to moment, the presence, the love. So every moment is very, very full.
This is really interesting. It says, how do we not separate if we have a masculine job but want to be a feminine woman? So you start to observe, actually, this is where those women who have masculine jobs, but they hold on to their sexual identity, they become really sensual or really attractive to men. It's kind of crazy. But again, they don't become so attractive to themselves or others when you lose your, again, you're going, well, it's a masculine job. So the key there is that, again, you don't become attractive when you lose your identity and fall into that masculine job. So sure, society has deemed it as a masculine job and so on. But do you have to identify that as a masculine job? It's just a job. Hey, whether you do it as a woman, doing that job, or whether a man does that job, that's the difference. So it's not really a man's job. Again, it's just a job. Look at nature. Look at. I was watching Living with Leopards. Really an amazing, beautiful show.
Love
Is
that.
I think it was on Netflix.
And
Yeah, it was
so,
on Netflix. Living with
so
Leopards
good.
is a documentary about this leopard who had two kids. Quite amazing what that woman does. I mean, she hunts, she does that. That's a man's job, right? Hell no. Hunting, again, in nature, a lot of times it's the female job. So again, in humanity, we've put those things, and they're not sexual. It's not a sexual identity. That job shouldn't have a sexual identity. Becoming fortunate should not have a sexual identity. Becoming financially free should not have a sexual identity. Anything like that. Becoming strong should not have a sexual identity. But in society, in human societies, we put that feminine nature or package around it, and then whoever applies that package, whoever goes into that situation, turns into or morphs if they're not awakened. So if you become exponentially intelligent, it just becomes a job for you. And as that job, especially if it's a masculine job for you and you're a female, you can actually play around with it, especially if you don't have a partner. It's like, oh, why is this a masculine job? So you use it as that. It's like, oh, I can see, because it makes you feel powerful. It makes you whatever. You get your hands dirty. Well, that should be, again, when you start to go, oh, that's masculine, then what am I as a female? And it turns that around for you, even if you're doing the job. Okay? It's quite amazing. I raised my missed 4 kids on my own. I actually turned into a nurturing, more masculine individual.
It's true.
And that's very, very attractive to women. Most guys would hide away from that. But you see a strong man, nurturing that child properly, not as a female, because then your testosterone goes lower and all that bullshit. Actually, when you start to do it properly, and you start to identify who you are as a man or as a woman, no matter what you do, enhances you. This is where your testosterone levels, your estrogen levels don't decrease as you age. You stay youthful, like Faye and I.
I think he has some. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
yes. I just.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
He's gonna put on the image that Faye was
Yeah, I
talking about.
just sent the image.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
Awesome.
this is what I was talking about. The little girls on the swing, and look at Moss. That's him about 13 years ago, and
I was drained, man.
that
I was
and
drained. I had no life. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And again, we'll talk about all the details, my previous relationships and all that. But that was the pattern that I was running.
and the picture Moss headshot on the right. That's that very night he was doing session. He was actually doing an exorcism. It's fascinating. I've been watching him doing this work on a daily basis and witness miracles every day. But every day is like the first time for me. I'm eternally fascinated by this work. So, but look at him 12, 13 years ago and look at him today. So this is a miracle of staying true to yourself. It's a miracle of XI. But look at my
You
little
can
girls.
really transform.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the girls now,
Mhm.
the girls are, they kind of feel weak and insecure. Well, obviously me, and look at me. So that's an extension. That's just one parent. So as I've grown stronger, my kids have grown stronger, and they don't identify with the mom or the dad. They take the best out of the mom, dad, even a stepmom. They take the best out of them, create that identity. In today's family units, what happens is again the kid gets forced to absorb either through their own issues, okay, because by the time they turn 12, 13, again, they should have their own identity, and they can pick and choose what identities or frequencies or habits they choose to pick from the parents. But again, they get so messed up, they don't know what to pick. So they take both identities on, man and woman. And this is where we have the issue that we have today, where people don't know what sexuality they are, right? It's not a choice, by the way. It's an evolutionary process. Again, no matter what you think out there, if you're confused about your sexual identity, I don't know why we're talking about this. It's really not a choice, right? It's an evolution. So we should honor all those individuals who are confused about them, because even heterosexuals are very, very confused about this. All right.
So looking at those little girls, I can, as a mother, I think every mother might have this feeling. It really makes a huge difference. Every interaction counts. So you can't think, oh, I'm busy today. Oh, I'll take her tomorrow. Every interaction counts. I see immediate difference in the difference that I make with the kids. If I adjust my behavior, my voice, my tone a little bit, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And I think we can stop the sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, this one, my mom made motherhood appear to be a burden, let alone being a woman. So, for you, Blue, what happens there, honey, is that life becomes a burden. You become a burden to everybody, right? You run a pattern of being a burden to people. This is the reason. You just said it right out. So what do? Again, take a deep breath in, guys. All right. What in that case, you start to separate your identity. You start to go back into, again, human form. Human form, in this case, it is a burden. And by the way, the book I'm writing, it explains burdens the way it should be properly. You take on, say, that cloak of beauty and grace. That's a burden because it's a heaviness. It's like deep wealth, right? Like a heavy fabric upon you. It feels good upon you. That's the burden that you should take. Most people take it as a burden, like in this case. It's like, shit, I came into this world, now I'm not free anymore. And that's what you're feeling, Blue, or that's what you used to feel. So it's a chance for you to peel away and come into a real burden of being human. Right? That's the burden. That's the only burden you should take upon yourself, by the way. The burden of becoming human, limiting yourself to experience what it is of to experience who you are as your pure potential. Okay? That and it goes very, very deep for you, Blue 1255, but that's what you're getting into. You're getting into euphoric expanses of who you are or glimpses of that. So that'll keep perpetuating the more you do the XI work.
Yeah.
Okay?
And to love children. I find out to love children, the best way to love children is to love like a child. You know, when the child is loving you and it's so pure, just when they're just looking up to you, and their eyes, their smile, their little face just make you feel amazing. But you can give the same love back to them. Is when I talk to them, when I connect with them, when I be very present with them, and that's exactly how I feel. It's like I'm looking at them, go, and they're looking at me, go, and it's such a beautiful moment. And that is unconditional love. And it's the same when I look at my little kittens or her cats. I love cats. And when the kids love their puppy, it's the purest form of love. And if you just run that love in your family, it's so satiating, and you're always being recharged all the time. Doesn't matter how many screaming, running little kids you have in the family. And also I apply this on loving not just children, the adult kids, our adult children. And it's I think I'm really lucky as a stepmom. When I came to the family, the girls are fairly easy, and I can hug them, kiss them, and we bonded almost immediately. Of course, a little younger, one older one, she's incredibly wise and sweet, and I was very shocked that she didn't reject me as a stepmom. So we developed very, very close relationship, and I'm always very loving and affectionate. And I wish, because the boys, they were teenagers. They're not that old to me. I just wish I can hug them, kiss them too. And mom's like, no, don't do it.
Yeah, slower.
I don't know. I think they're adorable. They're kiddos, but it took a little time, took some patience. I'm going to talk about it in my next video because I learned so much raising those kids. I learned so much from raising boys as a stepmom. And I think we both, on both parties, have benefited so much. So,
Go ahead.
yeah.
I was just going to read these comments.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So for the, oh, what happened?
So
Right here.
this?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is fine.
Oh.
Yeah, you're still alive.
Oh, because we don't see the screen, so I thought the live stops.
No,
live
you're
stream
good.
stopped.
No, you're good.
So as far as career, this is something I would like to talk about today. It's very interesting. I really think the synchronicities show me I am on the right track. You all know, or not all of you, but many of you probably know that about 7 years ago, 2017, it's 8 years ago, and there's the most horrific defamatory campaign against Moss, and I started on the internet, and it went on for 7 years, and the damage is astronomical. In my opinion, it's disastrous. The thing is, now we both look back, and we're thinking we should have addressed it sooner, because when things happened at the time, because all the accusations are so crazy. We're just like, oh, people can tell, people know the difference. We don't even to address it. We don't need to dignify that with an answer. But looking back in the internet age, it's different, because things can be repeated a couple of times and then circling around once or twice and become the truth. And then it's there forever, and there's doing damages. And I was just telling my team, just last month, I was saying, if something like this happened again, I would have addressed it sooner. So I think life really happens for me. So just very recently, this something similar, not as bad, and intense different, but something just as bad to me because the feeling's the same, just happened on my YouTube channel. I was just having lunch with my girlfriend, and then my phone blew up just saying there's some really inappropriate, nasty comments on my YouTube. So I had no idea what that could possibly be. So I checked, and I was really, really shocked and very confused to read the comments from this one gentleman I actually had great respect for a very, very long time. I don't really know what happened, but the thing is, I saw his comment. I don't know what triggered him, But basically, he is online calling me it's uncomfortable for me to address because I do care about him. He's online calling me a materialistic, I forgot the word, materialistic nothing, hiding behind the identity of a stepmom to financially exploit moms and the children. And he's warning the outside community against me. And it's just very strange because it comes as
So take a deep breath.
it comes as such a shock.
She's got such a soft heart. Anyway.
Yeah. So what I first thought about, of course, I was really shocked and I was really confused because we used to be friends, and I still have respect for him for many reasons, and his girlfriend. And at first I'm like, oh, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to hurt her feelings, or, people know me. And I received some feedback and email and saying, oh, Faye, what was that about, from other clients, where many comments about, we don't know what it's about, we're disgusted about this, and don't worry, we don't believe a word, but we are worried about if people don't know you, they may just believe it. And that really woke me up. And I remembered, I just told my team, if this happened again, I would have addressed it sooner. So, and one thing he said did remind me, because he told the XI community that I need to do the work. So I think I do need to do the work. I need to confirm the deletion. So now I am confirming the deletion. It's happening again, and I won't take it. The abuse and the bullying need to stop today. And I understand you have your own personal opinions, your personal perspectives, and I think your feelings are valid. If you're triggered, you're not happy, your feelings are valid. But what you're doing is you're taking data. There's hierarchies of what it is. Data is the lowest level, information, knowledge, insight, wisdom, truth, which is outside. But you're taking data and put it together with your filters and making an assumption and taking it online to speak the truth. And the result is you're assassinating my character, you're creating chaos in my family, you're creating division in my community, and it is not okay. And I confirm the deletion today, and I will not let this happen.
Wow, very powerful.
But with that said, it's difficult for me because I do care about you and your family. And it's not who you are, it's what you did. And I see this happen many, many times. The friends turn on us many times. I never said anything. So it's not about you, it's what you did. I don't think human spirit is the same as human actions. Yeah. So
of course not.
I do not like what you did, but as a person, the same respect I have for you and everything that I appreciate about you is the same.
Yeah. Just from an XI perspective, guys, when you start to, send higher and higher, you start to get more knowledge about, how things work and so on. Your stability really erodes, especially if you've been a successful individual. Your stability really starts to erode, and what you try to do is literally, good job, by the way.
Awesome. Thank you.
In the past, she would go, oh, you know what, it's okay, it's love. It's like, no, you got to speak up.
So what is in me? Thank you, Billy. Yes, I did ask all day yesterday. What is in me that have people?
So you have to remove that. But again, overall, we're always removing. That's why my abilities keep accelerating higher and higher and higher. That's, people go, well, how much can you accelerate? Well, it's like, shit, the more you clean up, again, what is it in me that's, fucking me up that I need to let go of, right?
Actually, I'll tell you what's in me yesterday. I did think about it. Yeah, so sorry. I think Mas and I, because we were being attacked together online in the atrocious fashion. And years I was thinking, what is in me? What is in me? And yesterday really came to me because we came to this world as game changer. It is very to the world. It's we bring animosity. Is that the word?
Animosity.
Animosity. Yeah, we bring lots of animosity, antagonism, and lots of opposition for the current belief, current ideology, and current reality and current perspective. So we bring in this opposition. So what we will receive is the opposition. It almost doesn't matter. It's not even on the personal level. It almost doesn't matter what we'll say, how truthful it is. But because we come in as the opposition of the current status quo, so we will receive constant attacks, constant opposition, animosity, because we're in this position. It's a mirror to the society. So yeah, so this is bound to happen.
Oh, of course, whenever you're bringing truth in today's society, again, the more truth you're bringing out, the more you get shut out. And it's a lot easier because, I was talking just the other day about somebody, about something. I'm not going to explain it, but, he's a very scared individual overall. And I was telling him, it's like, yeah, you should try this out. And then, I told him about this one product, and it's like, oh, he looked up on the internet. It's like, no, you know what? That's okay. I'm good. That's how people get you, because, people think that the internet is God now, and they want you to think that way. It's not about free thinking. XI is about free thinking, right? So as you become free, what'll happen for you is, again, it happens to this individual and other people as well. What'll happen to you is literally as you start to question yourself. But then when you start to question yourself, it's a scary situation. This is where most people fail, right? XI is a tool, guys, right? It can either fuck you up or expand you, right? It's a very, very powerful tool. If you don't know how to handle it, it'll fuck you up faster than anything, straight out, right? So it shouldn't be taken lightly. Okay? If you're serious about transforming, shifting, you should do it. But as you go to the higher levels, and people at the lower levels go, oh yeah, I can take that on. But at the higher levels, every little detail of who you are at a granular level. Again, it's like being magnified 100,000 times. Every little detail of you will start to come through, okay? And being magnified, those little details expand. Just imagine how, like, just a grain of sand looks like, under a microscope, magnified 10 times. But again, you're being magnified tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, 1,000,000-fold. Every aspect of you gets magnified as you go higher. I've gone through that process. Hence the last near death. It's like, shit, man, I got to let all the physical stuff go. So anyway, as you all get higher and higher, don't hold on to that shit, right? Especially when, and this is how you can tell you're holding on to the shit. This, we gave this individual private stuff, and this is how you can feel how you trust. So when you see somebody's private stuff and so on, and then you use it against them, that's being very judgmental, okay? And you don't know all the story and all the facts behind it, right? And you're always seeing it through your filter. So again, when I read you, I see pretty much now, especially with my abilities nowadays, holy shit, I see everything about you. And then when you're done, I see you as a being. I see who you are here, and then everything else moves away. Okay, I don't treat you any different. If you've noticed that,
I won't either.
I don't treat you any different. I don't destroy you. I don't accept you anymore. I accept you for who you are. I accept you for the human. As your abilities come through, people will get judgmental. It's like, oh, I see this in this person. I see that in this person. I saw that they connected and their family was into whatever that their family was. And then you start to change and adapt to their, or you start to treat them differently. Okay, that's the secret, guys. If you can treat that person knowing what situation they are in or what they're going through the same way with no judgment, it gives you the next ticket up, or it gives you that next, say, level access for you. If you don't, you just devolve levels. And you devolve really, really fast, because what happens is like, oh shit, something closed on me. Okay, this is I see it over and over. Something closed on me. It's like I don't have my access anymore. Okay, I don't have my connection anymore. So what do? You become more egotistical. You get more aggressive. You start to lash out. You start to demonize other people, but you don't ask yourself, it's like, shit, why did my abilities close, or why am I so frustrated? Because you'll get that way. Again, you did it wrong. Simple as that, right? You're supposed to expand, and you start to see that potential for everybody. And as you do, the best comes out. And then you help other people remove the distortions, even if you see them, even if they're wrong, those distortions start to move away. That hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
All right. So moving on.
Mhm.
How can I be impeccable in all areas in my life? Well, Heather, that's basically what I was talking about. If you want to become impeccable, you don't. If you want something, being impeccable, most people do impeccable totally the opposite, the wrong way. Take a breath in, Heather. What most people do is they become impeccable by you've got this layer of garbage underneath you. Okay, hereditary patterns, society patterns, human identities, and so on, just like we talked about. And then you want to be impeccable. So basically, you bury this layer of all this garbage that you're supposed to clean up, and then you build impeccable wealth, being spiritually enlightened, being all that stuff that people talk about, right? But then with it's like being impeccable is like, well, no, wait a second, you are impeccable. That's the difference. Most people in today's society, they bury the garbage and put this, I'm spiritual, oh, I'm impeccable, I'm whatever on top. XI goes, no, you are all that. You are abundant. You are all that. You are complete. You just need to take away the garbage. Most people don't do that. They hate to look at the garbage that they've become. It stinks. So take a look deep inside. Okay, that's how you become impeccable, by cleaning out your garbage. The fastest way to do that is with XI. We've got a lot of good stuff, by the way. Frequency microdosing, creative genius. This is going to be awesome, especially for those who are microdosing. Microdosing is the rage. So if you're doing psychedelics, you want to do the frequency microdosing coming up, guys. This is again on Creative Genius. This is on Monday the 20th. We also have the universal power frequencies, doing spirituality right. We're going to be honoring Buddha's teachings, actually bringing in the true version of what Buddha thought, not the distorted or watered down version. So we'll bring in the purity of Buddha. And then also human deprogramming coming up. One of the fastest ways to transform your life, hands down. Okay, it is really, really fast, but it is really, really powerful. So if you're not ready for it, there's a lot of free stuff that we do. Even the essential or the human upgrade version, right? The self healing version is very powerful, much more powerful than anything you've done. Again, but if you're not ready for it, that's cool. We've got a lot of free stuff to acclimate you to get into becoming exponentially intelligent. Also, because we are going to be doing the UFOlogy World Congress and Expo 2024 in Barcelona, June 14th. As we've opened up a lot of sessions because I'll be out, gosh, for
a long time.
for a bit.
And also for Burning Man.
And for Burning Man as well. So we've opened up a lot more sessions, a lot of private sessions. I think the calendar is out there till the day before I leave. So if you're interested in a private session, again, this is the time to do it. Right? Yeah. And by the way, a 15 minute session would be worth decades for you. And that's not me saying it, it's the clients saying it. It's literally transforming it. That's how fast it works. So it's actually very cost effective and very efficient for you because, again, time is very, very precious, by the way. Let's get into talking. You can, Fefe, you can ask some of these questions.
Some questions?
Here.
Well,
I don't know if you have questions for Fair. Here, I chose to be a career woman, then couldn't find a career. It makes sense now after this live. Absolutely. Yeah, you chose to be a career woman because, Amanda, you wanted to find yourself. But then it's like, well, so again, in XI, what you want to do is you want to find yourself, and then a career that defines you comes forward. Most people, again, they want to be defined by their career. Okay? This is where a lot of times, people women who are really successful, they're doctors, they're like CEOs and so on like that. It's like, well, I'm this. And then again, over time, they become successful in their career and they lose themselves. But if they knew who they were, that career, no matter what it is, being a doctor, being a CEO, being whatever, starting a business and all that, starts to define you even more. So the more you get into it, the more success you have, the more expansive as a woman that you become. Okay. This is basically the synopsis of this whole topic, by the way.
The kiddos are getting antsy.
So
I'll just say something real quickly.
Okay.
So I've
this
still.
is cute.
What?
The most beautiful couple of seed.
Oh.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Well, one thing kind of hit me yesterday because this gentleman was saying he is speaking for the XI community. So I was thinking if that's what it is, I really do need to come on and clarify, my reality and what is going on over here. I starting little, but it's building up, and I really enjoy doing those videos called XI Woman. I will maybe tell you more about it later on, but right now I'm just quietly growing my content and my channel. But I've been thinking XI Woman is really trying to help ushering the energy of divine feminine. But divine feminine cannot be if the masculine is profane. And what happened on my channel is untrue, unkind, unnecessary. I think masculine and feminine should come together and honor and support each other, like how Mas and I do it. And it's not because Mas and I were a couple. Every interaction, there's divine feminine, divine masculine. So, and again, I know my supporters are beautiful. I see things going back and forth, but I think we should always have respect and compassion for each other's process. And I don't want anything happening in XI or on my channel that's classless and tasteless. It's not called for. And if you don't want to be there, you can go, you can have your own channel. But if you want to be there, let's be one family, XI.
Yeah, if you have questions, concerns, respectfully ask. And we're very open, we're very transparent, unlike any other leader or motivational leader. All that again, very untransparent. So what we're going to do is Faye and I, we're going to open up some time and we'll answer some of the questions. So if you have those questions about it, go to Ask Faye. I don't know where you can get that. Maybe the team can post it. The team can post it.
I receive crazy questions, but since
so
it's
we'll
asked,
answer that. So if you have those questions, personal questions, obviously we're not going to answer the weirdest. Some questions you guys have are just.
Oh, it's okay.
But still, we'll answer those questions. Okay.
Recently, I got lots, especially after I post my Andrew Huberman's video, I got lots of people asking if we are monogamous or we're polygamous, if we have open relationship. I'm not. Don't tell me. Cliffhanger. So I'm going to address that question, and I have a sexy answer for you. Okay, I'm going to go back to my screaming children.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
All right, guys. All right. Seed your success. This is a very healing. I'm going through tapping back into my divine. Absolutely. So it's really. I can what? Center? Okay. All right. All right, guys. Let's quickly go through the some of the comments here, and I'll work on you guys as promised. This is Mel. I was married to a career woman. She destroyed me mentally. Absolutely, Mel. So again, what was it in you that allowed you to be destroyed? It's not just say the career woman. From what I'm seeing, Mel, your mom. Your mom kind of feels masculine, or your dad is feminine. Either way, whichever way, that kind of messed you up. And again, welcome back to becoming a strong, say, identity of who you are, right? A strong masculine identity, which is really great for you. So take back. So what? Even if it was something that person did that thing to you, absolutely, they did. I'm not saying they didn't. They abused you. They raped you. They did whatever. They did that. But what was it in you that allowed that to happen? And this isn't a blame game or anything like that, guys. It's taking that responsibility so it doesn't happen again for you, right? For example, if you get beat up, what do? You would go take martial arts class. You'd try to, learn about handguns, or you put pepper spray in your purse or whatever that you would do. right? The best way to defend yourself is having a frequency that says, hey, I'm a dominant person. Now, Faye is very, very feminine, but she has this frequency, and I've told this story, I'll tell it again, but not now. She has this frequency of, hey, don't fuck with me. It's a very powerful frequency. That's where, again, people honor, uh, and that's the kind of femininity that you want, right? You don't have to prove yourself anything. You're just there. You just have that presence. That's the presence that keeps you safe and secure, by the way, right? It's a great presence to have. So Mel, whether you're, again, for you, what was it in you? So go back in your times and see where you've been disrespected, and ask yourself, what is it in you that's allowing this to happen? Okay. And if you're lashing out, again, it's not a great thing. Learn from that experience, and move forward. All right. Let's see. So you're reading on what else I can do to support my divine feminine. There's so many comments here. Oops. Something about we respect everyone perception. Again, guys, I just want to preface this. Seed your success here. Question: I'm curious how women respect everyone's perceptions of divine, but over sexualization and challenging as a woman to respect without judgment. Absolutely. So actually, start to understand that's the key. Look at the filters. Most people look at the object. Okay. Most people go, shit. I need to respect that person no matter what they say. No, you don't have to respect what they say. Respect the person. Okay? Respect the person underneath whatever they're saying, no matter how heinous or dirty or distorted or untrue what they're saying. Again, don't respect the content. Respect the person. When you start to respect the person, you start to respect yourself. Okay, you start to see that, oh, they're a divine being. They're a full potential, but they've got fucked up patterns. Okay? And again, we get away from what's true or what's not. And then as you define who you are as a human, you actually see what truth is. Because at the level that most people are, you do not know what truth is. Straight out. Trust me, I've been there, and I'm still learning. There's a lot of truth that I'm still uncovering for you. Okay? The way I've uncovered a lot of truth is understanding who I am as a human being, rather than going, you know what, I need to know if that's true or not before I move forward. How many people in society do that? Right? I need to know if that thing is true before I define who I am. No, no, no. You're defining yourself by something that is limited because it's in time and space. Okay? So you go back and define who you are first. As you define who you are first, acknowledging the truth, becoming the truth, gravitating toward truth becomes much easier. So seed your success. I was helping you see it from a very different perspective, where you go, oh, as a pure human, right? There's in Terminators, there's that, what was his name? Anyway, it's like, what would Jesus do? What would a pure human do? Right? Simple as that. Would a pure human think that way? So when you start to identify who you are, the truth actually shows through. Okay? Or the bullshit that you are comes out, by the way. Moss, can you scan me? Jack. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. It seems, Jack, that it's almost like you don't have different personalities, but like you go into different possibilities of who you could be, and it confuses you. So over time, what you've done, especially with XI, excuse me, especially with XI, Jack, is that you've actually separated your identity from those. You've created an identity, which is really fantastic, and you pulled away from these, say, possibilities of who you could be. So now it's a great opportunity for you to, again, center yourself even more and go, oh, I like this aspect of myself. I like that aspect of myself, and bring it into a one identity. The human update coming up in June would be really fantastic for you, Jack, by the way. Okay. And don't do the accelerated, Jack. Just do the self-healing one, because this is about self-healing. Okay. Again, so don't do the advanced. Just do the once a day for you, buddy. All right. This one, please scan me, Carol. Carol, I don't know if there's been a death in the family, or it's either a death in the family, or like a female frequency. It could be your mom, or a grandma, but they never got over a death. And then that burden, oh, that's what it is. And then that burden, of death, especially during a pregnancy. This is another thing that affects mothers. Say that somebody died around them that was very special. That and you're pregnant, right? You're carrying somebody, and then they die. Somebody dies, and then it distorts the mom. It distorts the environment that that person is in. And again, death should be a euphoric and expansive experience. You do miss that individual physically, but at a frequency level, death allows you to, especially if you're pregnant, death allows you to let go of the humanness that we are and go back into your natural state. That's what death does. If any loss should allow you, okay, a loss, say somebody dies, right? What happens, no matter how unfortunate it is, again, at a physical level, it's unfortunate. It's sad to see people leave. But at a frequency level, what happens is like, gosh, you know what? It's time for me to act to be my best possible self. It wakes you up really quick, right? When somebody else dies. But again, unfortunately, people don't do that. They go back into their old pattern. So in this case, for you, on removing that, so that's what I was helping you with in this quick session. I forgot where you were, but whoever that was. Oh yeah, Carol. Carol. So yes, so moving that out so you can be free. You've done a great job. Now you can say move away from the shadows and become who you are, by the way. And that's where you are, Carol. So take advantage of where you are, take opportunities that you might have missed back in the day, and reclaim who you are. And this is where you're youthful, your vibrancy will start to show through. Right? By the way, Carol, you might be great for coming on the cruise. It's coming up, I believe, in September, by the way. Also, talking about opportunities, Burning Man, guys. Our camp is full, but again, you can connect with us. We'll try to get you. We won't try to get you, but we'll get you connections or maybe another camp. We can't promise anything. It's our first time being at Burning Man, but it's a great opportunity. If you feel the call, if the Playa is calling you guys, I'll be there at Burning Man. You don't have to be in the same camp, but we can still connect. Okay. This one, Michelle, I think I need more healing with sexual trauma. It feels like it's buried deep. I'm going to re-listen to our last session. Absolutely. So, okay, so this happens. This is really fantastic. I would definitely listen to the last session, right? And that's why these private sessions are so important. It's like a personalized hyper meditation for you, and you can keep re-listening to those sessions. By the way, okay. So if you're doing the 15-minute session, guys, have your own recording device because you know we do one after another. It just takes too long for us to separate. So again, have your own recording device or connect using a computer, because then you can record on your own device through Zoom. Okay, but anything longer, we would give you those sessions. But re-listen to this. So when those deep buried pains come through, allow them to come through, because it's like you're going deep inside. And what most people, what people try to do, right, without XI, people try to do is like, you know, that stuff is coming out as they become successful, or as they become married, or as they become expansive. What they do is like they try to bury that. What you don't want to do, Michelle, is actually start to bury that, all the pain that's coming out. Observe it, and as you become an observer, you become a parent to whatever happened to you in your younger days. You get to reparent yourself, and as you reparent yourself, you get to heal from that pain. Right? So instead of removing it or burying it, you go, oh gosh, that's what happened, and then you rewrite it. You can't change what happened to you in time and space, in the sands of time, but you can rewrite so you can expand. And that's that's the process that you're going through, Michelle, by the way. So it's really key to note that you're in an expansive space, and you have to look at what's coming out and just let it go. Okay, by just observing. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do anything else. Just observe and watch how you go through the process. Right? I created a masculine frequency as a woman. I would like a scan regarding my pure feminine. BA, you're starting to realize, again, you're starting to separate yourself. Before, this is what is so cool about exponential intelligence. No matter what you've gone through in the past, no matter what situation or pattern or program that you went through in the past to get into the situation that you do, XI uses it as a positive for you. Okay. Again, it's just something that you went through. It's not good or bad. It's just something that you went through. You can choose to put on something or a definition of good or bad, if that helps you. Okay. If it's something is bad and you're that person that moves away from bad things, it's like, shit, demonize that, perpetuate it, make it bad for you so you can kick yourself in the ass and move forward. Okay. If it's something good and being a good person perpetuates you, make that situation a great opportunity for you. It's like, oh, good, this X happened to me. Okay. And I want to be that person. So it perpetuates you to be forward. Again, no matter what it is, actually, I can use it to be, again, really fantastic for you. Take a breath in again. Okay, so BA, I created a masculine frequency as a woman. So what you did is basically you lost yourself as a young child of, I want to say 12 or 13 or 14. I don't know if your father left you or something like that, something that happened to your mom or dad or a divorce or something that affected you. And you just like pulled away and became insecure. And then this is where you became, say, that masculine frequency, right? Because it was safe. It was unsafe being a woman, so or a young woman. So and then you became masculine. So again, that separation, right? It worked out well for you. Fortunately, you didn't get the results that you wanted, but the separation you were successful at. Okay, that was a great pattern that you learned. So in this case, what you're doing now is using that same separation. BA, take a breath in. And what I'm helping you with now is like, oh, I can separate now. So you separated yourself from being a woman into a masculine frequency. So basically, you do the same process, just in reverse. You separate yourself from being that masculine identity that you've created, and then you become a female. And then whatever you did as a masculine, you start to observe. It's like, oh, now I know why that turned me into a masculine identity. So it's not a loss. It basically it teaches you a lot. It's like, oh, I should have done that. I should have done it this way. I should have done it this way. And then this is where you start to relearn yourself. It's not I should have this, in your mental space. It's about your frequency goes, oh, I would have done this in a female sense. So you learn from the past and you bring it into, again, the present, which changes your future. Right? Again, it's not a mental game. So BA, what you're going to go through is like, oh, okay, that's the way I would have felt as a female if I did X back then as a masculine. Now, so you're going to go back and remember a lot of things to rewrite it as a female doing it. Okay, so you don't have to go through the process. Nice job. Take a breath in. We'll take 3 more minutes, so we'll do it really quick. Rachel P, may I please have a scan? Not sure if my partner is right for me or femininity. I'm always worried about him, and I feel drained. Want to attract better, transform. Well, Rachel, if your thinking is not, if your partner is not right for you, obviously that's one of the key signs. Right. So start to follow your emotions, because one, you don't trust your emotions, and then you follow other people. Again, start trusting your own. You've done enough XI, by the way, where you've awakened, so your emotions or your intuition are more accurate. If you've noticed from what I'm sensing in you, Rachel, it's like you're more distinctive. It's like you can even pick up. It's like, oh, so and so is going to call me, or something is going to happen, right? So your abilities again are spot on. Those are becoming spot on. Again, those are clues for you. Your higher self is giving you clues. It's like, hey, Rachel, trust us. Look, something's going to happen in the near future, and you're going to know about it. And it's like, so ask yourself, Rachel, instead of wondering if your partner is right for you, ask yourself. Right? Ask yourself this question: is like, how did I know that so and so was going to happen in the near future for me? Right? What were the mechanics? Forget your partner, forget everything else. Start to understand the mechanics of who you are. Start to understand the mechanics of how your intuition is coming forward for you. When you start to know that, you start to define who you are as you, not about anybody else. And then if that partner is right for you, well, they'll start to adapt to your frequency because you're a higher frequency. Okay? They'll start to adapt. And if it's not, well, you start to disconnect a lot faster. Simple as that. Okay? So again, worry about who you are. Become a human first. Let's see. This one is Esselin Overgard. Can you please scan me and my husband? Of course. Yeah. So you both are, say, awakening through the XI process, or you're coming into an awakening, something to that effect, and you're starting to actually question or not. Uh, it's like there's a lot of fear around you, so you basically like you listen to the status quo. So this is an opportunity for you to break apart, to break a free, not break apart within yourself, not between yourself, but start to break apart from the control mechanisms that you thought were going to keep you safe. Because again, those control mechanisms again put you more and more in fear. Look at today's society. More people are in more fear than ever, right? Because again, those control mechanisms that go, don't worry about it, we'll keep you safe. Well, you don't learn how to stay safe, so you always trust somebody else. So again, go inwards, go inwards. Start to do some of those things that might have been, say, unacceptable to you or too dangerous, or it's like, gosh, I can't do that, because this is allows you and your partner, your husband, to come back into yourself and start to go back into your youth. And as you experience your youth, you start to go, gosh, you know what? That wasn't that bad. So start to experiment with some of those things that you wanted to do as you younger days, especially your husband. Okay? Your husband just seems like he lost out on a lot of things from his 30s. I don't know if somebody died. So it's like a loss of something. Yeah, it's like a loss of something in his mid 30s, and he just keeps repeating the same pattern over and over again. He didn't go forward. So this gives you the both opportunities again to allow new things to show up for you rather than repeating the same old crap for you. So really nice job. All right, guys, we could go on, and maybe on one of these Moss on Sundays, I'll just I'll answer some of the questions, and I'll scan you all, and we'll take the whole time that we're here together, and we'll dedicate it all to you again, answering some of the deeper questions. Okay. All right, guys. Again, notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing, and hopefully, we'll get to see you guys in Barcelona if you're in that neck of the woods, as we say here in Minnesota. All right, guys. Peace.